Hey guys, today is June 14th, 2025. So I want to make a reference to my previous video where I called out a plane crash that might happen around the time that it did in India. I did mention June 11th. I was one day off, but it's because I was showing the connections with the movie The Dark Knight and I tried to be exactly on the number 86, a double 86, because I talked about this movie connecting with the Heinz family, or when Heinz Field opened. This scene right here in the movie The Dark Knight was filmed in Heinz Field, and we have continually shown an 86 connection to plane crashes. So this was the sixth times where that at least I found. Maybe there's more, but plane crash connections connecting with Heinz family, the scene. And so I tried to get the exact date that would match up with the double 86. However, several of these connections and crashes were actually one day off, not on a double 86. That just reinforces that this is relevant. The rule of colel. The Kabbalistic rule of colel states that one digit can be added to or subtracted from the gematria value of a word without affecting its value. This seems to be a cheat. However, the Kabbalists explain the rule by pointing out that for them, one was not a number. The monad symbolizes the divinity and come and go as he pleased, adding nothing and taking nothing away. So, this plane crash that happened, 86 years, 8 weeks, 7 days, instead of a double 86, or one day off from being a double 86, from the birthday of John Heinz. Plane crash happened on Christmas. Asia-bound Airlines, killing 38 people. Then we had the plane crash in South Korea, one day off from a double 86 of Teresa Heinz's birth. 86 years, 85 days. Or it could be double 86 with the end date included. But still, twice in a row, we got one day off. And it's also relevant because the man running this ball with the number 86 was born in South Korea. Right? This plane crash in South Korea. He was half South Korean and half African. And from the date that Heinz Field opened, instead of a double 86, it's 86, 85 days, one day off, to this plane crash, South Korean Navy patrol plane crash in the country, South, killing 4. This was a smaller plane crash. Yeah, I know smaller plane crashes are more frequent, but since it was a military plane crash, the Navy, and in South Korea, the man running the ball is South Korean, we have a double 86 with the end date, but without its 86, 85. You know, it's very relevant. And so then I tried to pin it to a double 86 connection with Teresa Heinz, but I made a mistake in my previous video. I said it was from John Heinz's birth, but no, it's Teresa Heinz. But she's married to a Skull and Bonesman, John Kerry, and this happened on Skull and Bonesman George H.W. Bush's birthday. And in the movie, when Heinz Ward is running this ball, the stadium is exploding. They show the number 322, section 322, and that explodes first in the stadium. So it's very relevant. This plane crash happened on George H.W. Bush's birthday. But as you can see, it's one day off. 86, 8 months, 7 days. One day off if you're trying to look at the double 86 connection, right? So this brings us to another set of 3 dates that would connect to John Hines' birthday with an 86 connection, right? You have the exact date, June 29th, but as history has showed us with this movie, it's been connecting with one day off many times. So that means we would be looking at between June 28th and June 30th. However, after observing a pattern I haven't talked about in any of my videos, but I've been seeing an 81 connection. And by the way, that does connect with the 322 Skull and Bones number, because March 22nd is the 81st day of the year. John Kerry is currently 81 years old. This stadium opened on 8/18/01, August 18th, 2001. This plane crash in South Korea was 81 years, 18 days after John Kerry was born. The previous deadliest plane crash in South Korea was Flight 801 on August 6th, 86. And so now, June 30th out of these 3 dates catches my eye because it has a numerology of 81. 6 plus 30 plus 20 plus 25 is 81. And if you add up the single digits, it adds up to 18. Not only that, it is the 181st day of the year. 181 is the 42nd prime. We currently have war going on, right? And 42 connects to the number war. And by the way, shout out to Decoding with Cody. He successfully called out the war connection with the number 42, Mars, the god of war, and it was Trump's 42nd Mars birthday when this war escalation happened between Israel and Iran. So maybe on June 30th, there's another big plane crash, but this one connects to war, the 181st day of the year. I don't know. But all I know is we've been seeing a pattern that's happened 6 times, at least 6 times that I figured out. This would be number 7, if it does. We see a plane crash connecting to John Hines between June 28th and June 30th. So I also want to talk about another huge future war date that I've been looking at. This date is in September. I will make a future video about that, but maybe, like I said, June 30th. Maybe that is another war date, and that's why we see a plane crash. But we will be looking at these 3 dates, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.